Hey everybody, welcome inside the sit down on CBS Local. Ryan Mayer, now joined by the commissioner of the NWSL, Lisa Baird. Commissioner, thanks so much for taking some time today out of the busy schedule.
Thanks so much. It's great to be here, Ryan, with our partner CBS. Looking to
Now,
spend a
what
lot of time with you in the next few weeks.
I know, and that's the extremely exciting news that I want to get to here in a minute. But just first off, a wild year for you, one that I can't imagine you were expecting when you took this role on in early March. It's changed a lot, but as you sit here and reflect on what has gone on so far this year, just how do you put it all in perspective?
Well, you just continue to try and do the right balancing act because, look, we're taking the COVID pandemic extremely seriously. And we are guided by doing what's right and safe with our players. At the same time, we are also very aware that sports is a business and we need to continue. So those two things are hard to get to the right solution at the right time, but we're continuing to do it. And I'm really happy with how our Challenge Cup went, and frankly, the reception from the TV audience. So when CBS came to us with this opportunity, with the full collaboration and help with our PA, our Players Association, and our owners, we really did put together something exciting for the U.S., but again, guided by the right medical protocols.
For sure. And you mentioned the Challenge Cup being a success. It was a success both on air in terms of the number of fans that you drew into the league and new fans coming in, but also from what you just mentioned, a health and safety protocols perspective as well. And now that you've had some time to reflect a little bit on the entirety of that tournament, what are the biggest takeaways for you from that time out in Utah?
Well, I mean, the most exciting one, look, confidence in our medical protocols was one that I took away. They worked, and they worked because we have a great task force of medical doctors, 15 of them that are really guiding us. In fact, I was on a call last night with them. Number two is, so we had confidence with the right testing program and partners, and I'm convinced we have the right testing program and partners going into this fall series. The second one was also, just how how great it was that Americans responded. We had all of our games in the U.S. and Canada on CBS All Access, and then internationally we had an amazing audience with Twitch, and we generated a lot of excitement for our league, for our players. And I think that's been one of my goals, is make sure that we're building the reach, the awareness, and the excitement for our league and our women who are the best players in the league.
Yeah, you mentioned building that reach and that excitement. And with the fall series now coming again to CBS, CBS All Access, and Sports Network here, along with Twitch as well, how important was it for you after the tournament had ended to make sure that we were coming right back with something that was A, both safe, obviously, in the midst of the pandemic, but B, a season to capitalize on that audience that you had brought in?
Well, look, I would say CBS was a great partner to us in that they gave us the opportunity. So being on TV was a huge benefit, but we always wanted to come back. Our players want to practice, they want to train. They have long-term career interests here. They just want to do it safely.
Yep.
And that's where, we really need to be careful. But there was no sign that they didn't want to train. They just wanted to do it and play games safely. And I think we've got the right protocol in place. And we're always very careful to work with the PA and make sure that we're taking into account where we need to adjust and on the fly, and we do that.
And from that perspective, it's a three pods set up with regional games going on between teams. So just why was that the most effective in your mind and in the medical officer's mind way to go about this fall season?
Yeah, and I think a number of leagues are doing it. By the way, it's not a bad idea to do ongoing
Mm.
play in little conferences. So, I don't think we intended that at the outset, but I think as we look at welcoming new teams, then we'll be looking to build something that's maybe along the conference lines or not. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. But the pods ended up being really well balanced for us, and it minimizes travel, which is really important, I think, right now for the teams. And it's a short schedule. You know, they're playing 18 games in 7 weeks, and the proximity of the markets really helps us. I also like the matchups, so I'm pretty excited about the matchups and what we're able to do within the pod. So I'm headed myself down for the first game between the Washington Spirit and Sky Blue, and luckily it's just a short car ride away.
That's perfect, and an opportunity, as you mentioned, to have these kind of regional rivalries develop, especially as you bring some of these new teams into the league.
Yeah, exactly. And I think look for news for us on that. But like, I think, you know, with LA coming in, like that is something you look at the more established leagues, and, you know, everybody in our league, you know, aims for North Carolina, but, you know, there's some great rivalries here. So we have Portland, Seattle set up, and Washington and New Jersey actually is a pretty good rivalry. So, you know, and our final game will be Orlando, North Carolina. And I love that matchup because Carolina is always a really competitive team, and they want to do the best they have. And they've been you know, kind of a multiple championship team. But then you have Orlando Pride, and those girls are anxious to get back and play competitively. So it ended up working out really well.
Now, you mentioned obviously stay tuned for some news of new teams. We already have a couple of them that we know about, and that's one being the Los Angeles franchise, which is coming in, also racing Louisville
Louisville.
FC coming in during the course of 2021. And just as you look at this expansion as a whole, I know you mentioned developing those regional rivalries. Is there a set number in your mind, or is that kind of just a grow as you go type of situation for you?
Well, I think for a league like us, we've got to do it thoughtfully. Our
Mm.
principles are, you know, number one, we want to keep, we're the best professional league in the world. We have 8 of the top 10 teams in the world, and we want to keep that product strong. So that takes the conversations, you know, with our owners, even with agents. How are we going to keep that edge? And there's a lot of different ways that our competition committee is looking at that in our ownership. So keep the product strong. Number 2, I got to attract more global players. So I'm starting to build the profile of our league internationally. I want the best from every national team. We're lucky that the women's national team plays in our league. Thank goodness, we love them. You know, they're just a dominant powerhouse. But I want all the national team players on the leagues. You know, we have a pretty good start. Canada allocates their players to us, but so keeping international, our profile internationally, really strong. And I think that the thing for expansion that people forget is ownership. We want the right ownership with us. We want the right stability, the right facilities. We've developed some passionate fan bases in our markets: Portland Thorns, Chicago, and, you know, and even some of our newer teams. Like, you would be amazed right now how the New Jersey community is really putting their arms around the New Jersey team. They did really well and in the Challenge Cup. And then let's talk about Houston.
Oh,
The
for sure.
Cinderella story, March the playoffs, like the response from the Houston community, that ownership, those facilities, that love of market, team, and fans, like that's where we want to build. And so ownership, long-term view, globally entertaining and credible for all the best players, and then keep the product strong.
And you mentioned ownership there, and I think that's one of the big headlines that came out of the Los Angeles announcement is, of course, just all of the names that are involved there, right? Whether it's Natalie Portman or Serena Williams or her daughter, the youngest owner in
Yeah,
professional sports.
I
And
think I
then
like claim that claim. I'm the youngest owner in professional sports.
exactly. And then a whole bunch of former U.S. women's national team stars. It just, for the Los Angeles franchise in particular, that had a strong fan base that was pushing you guys to have someone come
Oh,
there. How important was it to finally, and how good did it feel to finally give that to them in this form with this ownership?
Oh, it was amazing. And, you know, I love the dynamic form. Like the LA News got a lot of attention. And I think it was like, I will give a shout out to Julie Ehrman. She's been the president of this, and she's been passionate about women's empowerment and football. And she really has the right seasoned vision for what we need to do on those two angles. And we're really excited to see the soccer program that they pulled together, because it made a lot of buzz. And I think it caught a lot of people's attention, because I'm really excited. My phone has been ringing off the hook, and social media has been full of people commenting about how they'd love an NWSL team. So don't hesitate to give me a call, but we're going to do it thoughtfully, based on the principles that I outlined.
Absolutely. And that thoughtfulness is kind of ingrained in the league at this point in time when it comes to both expansion, but also one of the other big issues this summer and during the course of this year has been social justice. And your league has been at the forefront of that as well, with the players' demonstrations during the course of the Challenge Cup. And just as you move forward here into the fall and coming into a very important election season, just what's the conversation been like between the league, the Players Association, about how to continue that message forward here as we go throughout the rest of the time?
You know what? That's such a great question. We need to continue to be driven by our values as a league. And I was so proud of all of our players, and the stance they took with Black Lives Matter, and the fact that, they were so intent on showing their support, and they knew that as the first team back to play, that wouldn't be easy. And it wasn't on some of them, but they were courageous, and they had grace and grit. As we go forward in this time, what I am called to attention of is how important it is to show unity with our communities. Like, it just tears at everybody's heart to know that we're going into what could be a divisive time in our country, and we're looking to help our teams shine a light on those partners and programs in their communities that are making a difference, and bringing us together. So we are a very diverse league, and we are proud of that diversity of all of the members of our league. But what we're most proud of is that I think we are a symbol of unity and coming together and supporting the community. There's a lot of people in our communities that are struggling, and putting our arms around those programs and companies and entities that are helping America come together. I think that's going to be a focus for us.
Now, the final question that I just wanted to get from you as we head into this Saturday, fall series opens up. We have NWSL soccer back on our screens. You told me you're going to be down at the first match. Just what's the most exciting part of this, other than just seeing the players get back out on the field?
Well, this is my first home away game. So I'm really excited. I'll be in the stands. I will be wearing my mask. I will be, distant again from the players. I'm just excited to do it at Segra Field and at the stadium. And it's been 6 months, and it was great to be in the bubble in Utah, but that was one different experience. So maybe seeing a little bit of back home, but also I can't tell you how excited I am, that all of America is going to be able to see us at 1:00 on CBS on Saturday. So tune in, America.
There you go. Perfect. You did the promotion for me. I didn't even have to do it to end it off. That was perfect promotion. Commissioner, thank you so much for the time, and enjoy the fall series as it returns here now to CBS and CBS All Access.
I will. Thanks so much, Ryan. Take care.